like... Okay, pretend this is white, because, like, I couldn't change the background color.
Right.
Those are white.
Okay.
Nora!
Okay, you literally have the right word, but the wrong word. Put the word before it. There you go.
Fuck, I did it! I'm so good at this, guys.
Yeah. See it. There you go.
Yippee! It took me a bit long because I was stumped by the spelling.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm happy I got to draw the whole thing. It was kind of cute.
Yeah, it was kind of cute.
Thanks.
Alright, I'm gonna warn you, it's probably not as straightforward as you think it is with this one.
Dang it!
That's not exactly what I wanted to draw, but that's fine. Okay. I'm taking my time.
Yeah, you take your time. You take your time.
Thank you. I want to be detailed.
2, 3,
What?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Are you counting the dots?
No,
Or are you
I was
counting
counting the letters.
Okay, I was like, I hope not, because I'm not getting that detailed.
Off.
What?
You definitely got it.
Nice, Sammy. Nice.
It's something.
What does this do? Oh, never mind. No, I don't want that.
I don't know. What is it?
Nice, Fred.
No? I don't know. Cock.
Gag.
Oh my god.
Why is it so big?
Banana. Oh.
Hear me out. Listen, I'm good at this.
I'm listening. I forgot that you were on your drawing tablet for a second, and I was like, wow. And now I'm just excited. Arnar, clear.
The crunch.
What?
You all are so smart.
It's
Sorry, wait, that wasn't sarcasm.
okay. I knew it wasn't sarcasm. I know you.
Thanks.
Huh?
I got it. Yeah. Is that Cocaine Bear?
No. Hold on.
Why is it not there?
Wow.
I already guessed, but I'm gonna put another guess. Cocaine Bear.
That one. No.
Wait, did you see?
Hint? You know, it's a genre.
Oh,
I see what you're doing.
I didn't think about that.
I got it. Got it. Yeah. No.
What?
Penis.
My banana! No.
Listen, big boy.
I didn't click that.
Oh, you sure about that?
Don't worry about that.
There's an eraser.
Okay.
Okay, never mind.
It's so small, though.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I think you can adjust the size.
So good at this.
Oh, wait, you can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the
Wow,
left
that was
side.
aggressive.
Thank you.
Oh my god,
Wow.
I want to play again. This is entertaining.
Me too.
Okay.
I don't know why I love drawing games so much, but I can't draw.
Literally same.
Okay.
My banana! Every time!
Go back to draw my thing.
Oh my god. The good old days.
Wait, draw my thing? Wait. Why do I know what that is?
Mineplex Minecraft drawing.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that's what it was called.
Oh, okay. Background. I gotcha. I see it.
I'm bad at this. Guys, give me a moment.
It's okay. Take your time. I mean, there is only a minute, but take your time.
Yeah. don't have time, but you have time. Wait, we all put it after each other as if it would be right when we did it.
I put a different word
Well,
because I'm different.
Okay.
I'm a leader, not.
I'm a
I know.
Libra.
Oh.
Ooh. Ooh. Wait, this is hot. I just want to see where this goes. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's really good.
Oh.
Yeah.
I had to get the vibe, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't do it without the vibe. Oh. I like that the mascot has a juice box.
I want to know what the juice box
God.
has in it.
What?
What? Are you kidding me?
I'm so sorry. I just guessed a random 5-letter word related to Halloween. That's how I always start the game. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god.
Aw,
What are the fucking chances?
I'm just a genius. What the wait, I got like the same freaking like options as one of the last times.
I want her to tell me what that juice box has. If it's like orange juice, cause like orange, but or is it, you know,
I'm
something
gonna
else?
have to copy a drawing from earlier, but it's not the same thing as earlier. It's just similar. You guys can. Yours was better.
Soup.
Goose soup.
Good soup.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's. I don't know.
I don't know. Arguably, I think yours is better.
No, yours was definitely better, bestie.
Oh fuck. Oh. Okay. Okay. Wait. I need this. Okay.
Aw, stop
So-
censoring me! I wish there was a non-censored version, like a Jackbox. Frick.
Don't worry too much about any of this shit. Just to set the scene. All right.
What?
Let's just set the scene, and then.
Oh! That was a good one. I liked it. I liked it. Picasso. Is that Guillermo's?
Diggy. I wish. For Guillermo. He wishes, actually.
He wishes. Is it? Give him those glasses. Sure you made it. Oh my god, do you remember? I was thinking about this like yesterday. Remember those vocab sheets from Spanish where we had to draw like the phrase? We had like
yes.
every single week I would draw fictional characters on those. So it didn't matter what the sentence was, I would relate it to whatever show I was interested in. So it would be like Vale la Pena, and I would draw Sherlock and John doing whatever the fuck. It was, oh my god, I was so gay. I mean, I'm still gay, but like, you know.
Right.
No, that doesn't fit. And I spelled it wrong
Um,
anyway. Womps! Womp!
Let's go.
Yeah! Sorry. I realized that could be revealing. The answer.
No, I needed to draw her flannel.
Oh, the flannel.
Not the flannel.
What's a big?
No, my penis.
What?
The Frankenstein. Oh. No, I actually have no idea.
Let's go.
Oh, wait. I just did that for the bit, but then I realized. That's for Halloween, I guess.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god! I get all the good options now. I want to do all of them. Okay, I'll just do this one. Wait, hold on. No, okay, I'll just keep going. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm actually kind of digging this music, honestly.
Oh, in the game, I turned it off. I was distracted. You know, gotta. Wait, hold on. That bigger.
I don't understand what is going on.
No, don't worry. It's not done yet. That's why. Okay, it's not. So just like calm down. Wait, I don't want to draw the revealing stuff yet because I want to like actually draw more.
What? Hold on, wait, I forgot
Let's
its
go.
name.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, hold on. No, no. Billy and Mandy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Wait, fuck.
No, this one. And then boop 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 boop.
What?
Boop.
Yeah, boy.
Dang.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh. I think it's finished.
Oh, I like it though. I like it. Picasso.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm back.
Yes,
at
I
this, guys.
finally moved up from 4th.
Oh, have you
Let's
been
go.
fourth every time?
Oh wow, we like the exact same
I
play.
want to play again. Hey.
Well, we're playing again. We're playing again. Ooh, ooh.
You have no choice.
I'm gonna do this one. Don't overthink it.
Okay.
Or do. That's up to you. You know what, Finn? You're pretty close. Okay, hold on.
What?
What?
What do you mean by that?
You'll see, you'll see.
Um,
God, yup.
What? Oh,
let's go. I get it now. Okay.
it's Levi. He's king of the
It is
jungle.
Levi.
Yeah, I just wanted to draw all of it before I got to the crown, because I knew you'd guess it immediately.
Okay. I am up. You're so right.
Okay.
We're back here again.
fuck. Stop.
I don't remember. Fuck it.
Oh shit.
What?
That's actually really funny. What? No.
Aw. Oh, ooh, ah. I got it.
Fuck. How do I make it smaller? Whatever.
Oh,
Dun, dun, boop.
Hey, fucking
No.
Dun,
damn it, try like a goddamn
Goddamn vampire!
What the hell is that?
We got a Muppet face.
Look at the size of my brush. I can't do small things.
Oh
face.
shit.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Oh boy.
hear me out.
Yeah, can't say it to me then, can it?
Tsukumi.
What?
Okay.
Oh.
Oh.
I would have just drew August.
What? How dare.
I just kidding. I love you.
I know you do. But fuck you.
That's fair. Poo coop coop or something. Oh wait, no, it's op, not oop. Fapu kap kap.
Fab you cop cop yabo you.
Yeah, that.
I love how much I fucking stumped Ender there. That was so funny.
Yeah, that was crazy. fluent. What the fuck is that Why is he holding the penis?
Okay. Literally thought there was no way in hell. I surprised myself. Spectre.
Boo.
I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I'm gonna be fully
Oh.
honest with you.
Close.
I
close.
spelled it wrong. Wait, no,
Nope.
I spelled it wrong again.
The
Blah, blah, blah.
dyslexia.
I don't know how you got it when I started coloring in yellow.
I don't either.
No, it revealed a letter, that's why.
I don't say blah blah blah.
Ooh, ooh, arr, 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 arr,
I'm crazy, but my god, am I
Try
free?
this one. I'm gonna try. Okay.
Dang, not it again.
The gasp shocks me every time.
What?
When I enter a guess, it does like this gasp.
Oh my god, that's. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
What?
Oh, I need a custom color. The little ring. There's some rings. There's some rings.
What?
Oh my god, you got it!
Let's go.
I don't know.
All I heard was some rings. I was like, oh, okay.
CR.
Guys, I do not understand. What the fuck?
That was the first thought that came in my head,
Oh.
Finn. Emo with an H at the end. I was like, wait, that's not right.
Gamer.
Emer. Okay.
What? Oh.
I got it. Got
Good job.
Yeah. Oh, very, 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 very. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Both of us.
Oh my god.
Fucking I'm okay.
What?
Just so you know, I'm gonna keep drawing this until everyone gets it right.
That's all you're
I
gonna
don't
draw?
understand.
It's okay.
Oh, okay. I get it. I see the vision.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. Kind
It's
of.
one word. Smile.
I know. Oh!
Yeah.
I got so stuck mentally. I
Close
kept my
to
brain
death.
just wouldn't think of anything new and just kept going back and forth between ear of corn and corn.
Okay. Oh, fuck yeah. I'm so good at this game.
What?
I understand the human psyche. Wait, why is Dick so big?
What?
He got a third leg.
Fuck.
Nice. Are we playing again? No.
What do we think? New game?
Yeah.
they can.
No. Let's try
Yeah, this.
something else. Did you like Spellcast when we played it? Do you want to do that one or?
I thought it was fairly fun.
Yeah.
Go over there.
How do we join? How do we do it? Oh yeah, join your game. Okay.
How do I? How? How?
New game?
New game? No. No.
Oh.
I
Okay.
just wanted to pop in.
You're in.
And then-
Yep, and then click join
Yeah,
game. Yep, there you go. There you go. There you go.
And then now we make words.
Wow.
Is this like Boggle?
Yeah, it's kind of like Boggle.
Okay.
What?
Boggle.
Oh.
Nice. On brand.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Izor.
I know. I'm trying to make up words. Boggle.
Oh, I see a word.
Boggle.
I'm gonna vote for a timer.
I want a bigger word than what I'm seeing. No, just this one.
Hmm.
No. Man. Men. Boy. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Lurf.
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 ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? La biblioteca. I forgot the words. Muñeca. Muñeca. La biblioteca.
Hair. Nice.
Discoteca. Discoteca.
So good at this, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Beans. Fart. Just kidding. Spell that. Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah,
Are you
Damn.
shitting me?
Go crazy, go stupid.
Doing the opposite of going stupid. Yep. Yep.
Hmm.
Raw dog.
What? There isn't even a D on the space.
Oh yeah, no, I like to make up stuff.
No.
Eating rainbow. Piz. Not piss.
Tell me.
Piz.
Tell me.
Pez dispensers.
Oral.
Yeah! Whoa! You're going crazy, going stupid, my dude.
Yeah.
Alright, low hanging fruit right here. A double letter.
Pam.
Ham. Love.
Quaff.
Boy. Yeah, boy. Ooh. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Nar.
Clear. Pronunciation.
Tell me. I'm going crazy.
You should. Oh my god!
I see a good one.
Me too! Don't steal
Yeah.
it.
I'm gonna steal it if he doesn't steal it.
Oh shit.
No!
Nice.
That wasn't the one I had, but it used my letters.
Damn.
Me too! Did you have Phil?
I did!
Oh!
Fuck, okay.
Penile.
Nar!
Hung. Nice.
Hung!
Right. Ha. Fondle these balls!
Ah!
Boggle, but we can only use naughty words. I can only count to 9. Wait, oh.
I can only count to 9. I can only count to 9.
Oh, my cat didn't like that. He got scared. I'm sorry, Sally. I just like to scream. I like screamo music.
I like screamo music.
Is Ozark a word? It's not there, but is Ozark a word or is it a name? Like, would it count?
I believe so.
Pam!
Me on my way to spell oxytocin.
Nair!
Lab.
I'd like to see you
Yes.
try.
On
Mhm.
fire. Rage. I'm
Um,
going crazy.
Goyo.
I'm so
A
sorry.
goy.
That was that was not voluntary.
Mia.
Mia.
I'm so lost right now.
Pony with an I. Slang.
Pan.
It's My Little Pony slang. Pantalones.
I'm sorry I'm taking so long.
No, it's okay.
You're good.
I wish other languages counted, because I always see ones in other languages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gato. Nue. Okay, that's it.
You have a timer, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Hey,
old
buddy.
pal. Vamp.
Wow.
You just vamped! That's so funny. That's so
Oh.
funny.
New round.
Oh. Hey guys.
Ass.
Please let me have this one. It'll be funny.
For the bit.
Yeah.
I saw another word that I was gonna use, but I figured it wouldn't let me use it, so I didn't.
What word?
Poon.
Is it still there?
No. It was poon.
Oh. Yeah, it's weird. What did we have last time? Gayer? Gayer worked, but then something, I think it was like pimp or something didn't work. It was so weird
Yeah.
what it accepts and what it doesn't. So you might as well try them if it's gonna get you the points as well.
August, go faster.
Sure, no. But, fine.
Could have put that word in any order. At least. I'm a Virgo. Just kidding, that won't. Viagra? No.
Viagra? Aw, I thought it said boner.
Nah.
Well, it kind of does if you remove the E.
Oh yeah, I have points, so I could put both.
True.
Oh, that's your turn. It's your turn. I thought it was mine.
Oh, there you go.
I just got 20 points for boner. That was worth it. Oh, you could almost put penis. Penis with a Z. Yeah, the stuff at the bottom is stuff you can read. It took a while to learn.
This bitch.
Got me paying rent, paying diamonds on a diamond. Is that what you were
Diamonds on
singing?
her wrist. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we on it.
Guys,
That's what's playing right now.
I
Ah!
already tried that.
Please.
I've tried
no!
that. I'm so sorry. I tried that last time.
Oh.
Remember?
I don't.
Hey, you can
I
put
wish I did.
gayer. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Vamping. Vamp, 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 vamp.
Damn.
What?
He is big.
Who's big?
He.
Oh, E.
Is this a
Mhm.
word?
It's got the 2 times and the crystal.
Yeah.
No, guys, please, I'm bad at this.
No.
Ted.
Ted Mosby.
Ted Nicholson.
Oh my god.
Ted Bundy. Ted. Nah, I don't know. Ted. Here I am. No, won't go.
Yummy.
Boner.
Oh.
Fuck
Nice.
Fuck. Fuck yeah, that 2 times felt good.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, you could do Sith. I don't know if
Good.
that would actually count. But the Sith.
Stir.
Oh, you could also reverse the word. Yeah. And make it a real English word. That also works. This Zoa.
Nice.
This bitch got me for
If only there was an E.
You could swap. Yeah. Smoking out the window. I could do this, but
Girl.
a girl, baby girl.
Baby girl.
Ooh, in the zone. Auto zone. Would auto zone work? Oh, we're done.
Can we play again? Please.
Yeah.
Yippee!
Oh, oh, I got Fast and Furious. I got an award.
Wow.
Did we press new game?
Yeah, we better do the game.
Yeah.
Everyone better play a new game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my god.
good luck.
Hold on.
It swapped us.
Orpheus. It's not there.
Aw.
I just just see like one letter and think of a word and then say it. It's never there.
I'm gonna go grab a drink.
Yay.
Okay.
Miss your turn. Pussy.
Puss.
Puce.
Puce. Pucer.
Pucer. Pussier.
Pussier. Map. Ram. Nip. C.
Run around Sue. Run away Sue? Run around Sue. Run around Sue. Song by
Worn. Plural.
Yeah. It's your turn, Levi.
Oh shite. Um
Start timer. No. Wow. Mm. Warned.
no. Sorry.
What?
Boob. Oh wait, it's only
No, that's Bob.
Mayo.
Fuck.
Aw, darn. I would have loved that. Do mayonnaise. Mayo. Damn you.
Paid.
I wanted that letter. Mm.
Levi, it's your turn.
I know. I'm thinking.
Potential for a very good word if like 2 letters were moved around.
Alright, well, what I can do. Get that triple letter.
Wow.
Get that.
Wow.
Damn. 70 points?
Yeah,
Shit.
baby!
Shit.
Playing the game.
Okay.
Get that double wood. Mhm. Huh? Ooh, ooh. Okay.
Nice.
Wasn't much, but
I was looking at the word Google with that double O. Google.
What, Bobby?
I want you.
Why are you crying?
Want
Come
me.
here. Come here, Hansel. Come on.
I need.
Come on, stop crying at me. Come on. Come here. Come here.
There you go. There's my
Give me a
boy.
moment.
No, you can't have the bowl. No. Yes. Sink down and act like you were doing nothing.
Darn. What? Wait, hold on. I got this. Okay, so never mind. I'm just gonna. Oh! I have no idea what that is.
That's insane.
Lore.
Hmm. Maybe. I'll consider it.
Mayhaps. Oh, you could. Oh,
Possibly.
never mind. I thought you could spell mayhaps. That'd be funny. But no, still just mayo.
May. It's still just mayo. What was this? Okay.
Shit. Gate.
Gelb.
Leg.
Okay, I don't think I'm gonna get better than this.
What? That's a.
I'm
That's
sorry?
a word. What do you mean? Whatever do you mean?
You're literally lying to
What
me.
could you possibly mean? I love doing really bad impressions of that one guy. That I
Okay.
don't know what his name
This
is.
is
Never
fine.
mind. Do know his name.
What's his name?
I can't remember his name.
The
That one Jewish guy.
one Jewish guy.
Yeah, the one guy. He does the weird action. The weird, like, he has his own action. It's just a him thing. I can't think of his freaking name. I'm gonna go through the entire alphabet.
Okay.
Doesn't start with an A. Doesn't start with a B. Doesn't start with a C. G.
Fuses. Oh, thank you, Bobby.
G. Okay, so it didn't start with any of the letters of the alphabet. Hold on. Hold on. Let me try it again.
Are we sure he
Oh, Nick
exists?
Kroll! Nick Kroll! That's his name.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Nick Kroll. He does, like, this weird action. I don't even know how to. I can't even describe it. But it's so weird. Love it. Perk. Sex! Sorry.
I'm talking about sex, baby. I'm talking about
You,
you and
me.
me. I'm talking about all the good things and the bad things that may be.
A little bit. Sus. Sussy mucka.
Susie.
Boy.
Lois.
Lois.
Lewis.
Lewis. Peter.
Liam.
Liam Neeson.
Mhm.
Right. Get right. We're having it out. Come on.
Leg.
Just think. So.
Lel. Lol.
Lol. La 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 la
La
la
la
la
la.
la
La la
la.
la la la.
Remember when that was peak comedy? La 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 la
Yes.
la 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 la. La ha 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 ha. La ha 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 ha. Mhm.
What?
Louis. I
Louis.
am not a jacket. My name is Louis. Okay.
Oh, you want more? Okay, I'm sorry.
Once good enough, I guess. Finally, someone's gonna go with mayo. No! I want someone to do it! It's been there the whole time. Point. The whole. How does he do that accent? I can't even describe it. It's like he's got like the like New York mixed with like the Jew mixed with some random things that he made up himself. I can't. Oh, boy. Gigas Chad.
Giggles Chad.
Oh, final round! Whoa!
Wow.
Voyeur.
Vop.
Oh? Well, yay. Yeah! 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 I love that word.
Jesus.
It's my favorite word. Damn, why didn't you go with four?
Because Bull had more points.
Yeah, but four.
Pie. Aww.
Uh, that wasn't very nice of you guys.
Pies.
I just want
Why
that.
is he?
I want an extra letter. Oh, box.
Go the other way.
Beep.
No, start with P. To the left and
Eunice?
up.
Can you do it? The question is, can you do it?
Porn. The
Damn.
past tense of porn.
I'm gonna do it for the bit.
Oh
What?
no!
Bullshit.
You
Are
could,
you shitting
you
me?
could do poor.
Oh shit!
Nice.
No, that's infinitely
Thank you, thank you.
better. Oh my god.
Dope.
Oh my
Die.
god.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Died.
so I'm just gonna say I see a word, but like I'm legit scared to play it.
Is it
Oh,
racist?
oh no.
No.
Oh, okay, then you should
It
play it.
it is like
Oh,
very like
I s-
sensitive topic though.
I see it. I see it. Yep.
Yeah, I know.
I
Yep.
don't.
You can't
Should
even
I?
get the good A with it anyway.
Should
No.
I?
I mean, you're not gonna get that many points from it. No, what you could else.
I'd-
but-
Okay, I'm gonna try something.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I didn't think about the Y.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
No.
What? Okay.
What?
All right. The okay, so like the whole word is banned. Okay.
Must
Just
be.
getting infinitely worse. Rabies. Oh no.
I'd.
Nerd. Nerdy.
EYED.
Oh yeah. Yes. I don't.
I'd.
Obey.
Yes, mommy.
Obey. Obey.
Obey.
Oh, put the timer on.
Oh, and I want to play that playlist again.
Game of police.
Yeah.
Oh. Mm.
My word from before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Call back.
How the turntables.
Yeah.
Can we play
Yeah,
it? Please,
boys!
please.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yippee. What?
Juicy.
Juicy drop pop.
Oh, yummy. I ate the last of my fruit roll-ups today.
God, just got those yesterday.
I
Why
ate
am I the
some
last
once I
one
got
again?
home, and I ate
I
some
don't know.
earlier. There were 4. It wasn't gonna last me long. Diary.
Fart.
Derp.
It's actually not
Derf.
there. Oh, wait, it is there.
Direr.
Deaded. Yeah, there's a lot of French words you could do with that. Mix up there.
Ripe. Fawn.
Listerine.
Fair.
Wait, no, please.
Wharf.
Oh, oh, oh.
Oh,
Nice.
that was a good one.
Oh.
But not keep repeating over and over.
Damn.
Oh my god.
Rad.
Bam.
What?
Nice.
Bam.
Wow.
Just gave me that one.
Gary.
Gary. Gary, come home.
Worm, spelt with an I.
Worm.
Worm. What the fuck is this cat doing? Oh my god.
Yeah, mom.
Fuck. Fuck. What was my word from before? No. I forgot.
What? What? No, it wasn't.
It was. Whoa.
Gut.
Ragu.
If you guys could just not touch any of the letters until it's my turn, because
No.
I have some really good ones.
Gub.
Oh, who did that?
Nice. Nice.
Rage.
Ragey? Don't.
No, rage.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why would it show me the
Ragey. I like
amount?
that. They're
Yeah.
funny.
Half.
Don't touch
That.
anything. Ha! Ta-ta!
Ta-ta. Totter.
Tart. Don't touch those. Don't touch those ones. Don't touch those letters. Yeah. Wait, no, don't touch those. Don't actually do those ones. Don't do those.
Coutoir.
Don't do those. Don't touch those ones. No, don't touch those ones. No.
Retoire.
Yeah, you can do. Okay. Yeah, like okay.
Hatu.
No. Don't touch. Don't. Not those ones.
So mature.
Fuck! Ruined my plan. Can I still figure this out?
No.
Shh. Got this.
That. But.
Mm.
Off.
Truth.
I don't know. Oh.
Shut up, Sheldon. I'm thinking.
I'm sorry, Bobby. I gotta move you. I gotta adjust you. There you go, Bob. There you go.
No. No. Fuck! I hit the.
You could do butt with 2 T's.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I thought you could do tit.
Oh.
That's upsetting.
I could have put traumatize.
Aww.
I could have put traumatize until Finn got rid of one of the A's. I literally had it entirely planned out. That would have been so good. That would have been so long. It would have been so good. Monet.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
The
put
E
Mon.
isn't in the right spot.
Wait. No.
I love Monet.
No. Mom.
Put cunt. Kidding.
You can't put con.
Angelina Jolie, let me put my hands on your knees and my hair.
Same. Ooh. Go crazy, go
Fuck,
stupid.
what was my first word?
Oh, I don't
No.
think
Fuck, I can't remember my first word.
it wasn't cunt.
No.
Was it gnome? Just kidding. Can't put gnome. It was gown. It was gown. That's what it was.
Yes, it was gown. What? Gow.
Angelina
Do
Jolie.
it. Size when I found.
Angelina Jolie, let me put my hands on. I'm so slang.
Why are you saying about Angelina Jolie? Cunt. You still can't put it. Damn it. Angel.
Double, toil and trouble.
Let me in. Hey.
Oh!
Did that.
Rhine.
Conolingus.
What?
Never mind. I can't get that one. Unless.
Tuna.
Nah.
Tuna.
Nah. Oh my god, it's not my turn. I was like, who is doing this?
Zutimu.
Zautism.
Zuti
No. Autism.
Mew.
Oh. Cain and Abel. I love that show. God, no.
Oh, God.
Aw, nice. Fuck. Darn. I want to put a different thing first, but that's okay. I will do.
Oh, that's so
Mail.
Guys, I love Tom Cardy.
I had a feeling that one of these was a word, but no. I don't know anything about X's. Oh, no. We already established that wasn't a word. Okay.
Zane?
Enough be.
Shoulder pop.
Is that even a word? Oops.
Not that,
Oh, but it
Zane.
feels so much
E.
better now.
With an E.
Yeah. Jump.
Oh shit. That is a word. Zane. Something. Oh,
I think that's a red flag. I don't want to get stabbed.
Fuck. Wait. No. Oh.
I tried to get the waiter's attention by blinking in Morse code. Why are you liking so much? I've got something in my eye. Here, let me get it out. No, thank you.
No,
I don't
thank
want to
you.
die.
I don't want to
Oh,
die.
sure, so it's blinking at me. Is this because your date is a
Because your
freak?
date is a freak?
No, very
No.
good then.
Very
Bon
good, sir.
appetit.
Bon appetit.
Stop hiding
Hey, buddy.
behind it.
Oh my god, let it be my turn. I have one.
Tom.
Don't touch. Don't touch.
Tom. No. I kind of want to do Tum just to spite you.
No!
Extend!
No, you don't.
Um,
What? Who extended it?
Me.
With what?
Point.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Tuna.
Yeah! Oh, wait. Yeah!
No! I thought I was gonna get you.
Got to fit. Means you're the best friend. You know the thing. Fuck her up.
What?
Okay, if everyone can just
Macarena.
not touch any of the letters on the board until my turn, that would be great.
Problem with that one.
Well, you see, we would, but also no.
But you could consider yes doing it.
Nuh-uh.
Mm.
But what if you did?
Oh.
I don't want to die. Ooh,
I wonder if that's a word. Probably not.
Lavas.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Hey!
Alright, did you ruin my word? Let's find out. Fuck. You ruined. You ruined it.
Well, damn.
Oh. Oh. Mer.
Hi, Merle.
Merle.
Ah, okay, bye.
Vive.
Bye. Vibe.
Vibe. Okay, okay. Will it replace it with a letter that I can use? No. Fuck. Let's see if I can still salvage this. I could shuffle it and see if they get closer to each other. I'll risk it. They didn't. Damn it. I had malicious signed up. Like, literally lined up perfectly. I
What?
wouldn't have had to put anything. Oh, fuck. I didn't actually mean to. Okay.
That means bad in Spanish.
Yeah. Bad. Malicious. Hi, Zoe. Welcome back. Here, mister. Rock and roll
19.
McDonald's. Come here, Zoe. Mister. Meow. 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 I had the mic like right next to him.
I can't tell what's you and him
Oh,
anymore.
no. I would have picked it up. But I didn't have my headphones on to know.
Run, run, run.
The nearest Taco Bell. Urine.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, there's no.
No.
But there could be. Just
Earn.
use some points. Hi, Bubby Boots. Hey, Bubby Boots.
Mourn.
Oh, ooh, Jason Bourne.
The Bourne identity.
Come in. Yeah! Yeah, baby! Oh, it's the final round. It's the final round. It's the final round. Rock and roll McDonald's. IKEA.
Fuck you.
Oh. IKEA. Oh, can't do it. Never mind. I thought it was still there. Fuck you, shuffles your
Cry.
board. Don't cry. Craft.
Turdy.
Turdy. Party.
What?
Nice.
That was insane.
I'm built better.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Rock and roll, Donald. Rock and roll, McDonald's.
Rome.
Nemo.
When in Rome. What can I
Yeah,
say?
I live in Rome.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, they do.
What?
Yeah, I live in
Yeah.
Rome.
No?
Yeah.
You live
Yeah.
in America?
Yeah, there's a Rome in America.
I don't
Uh-huh.
believe that.
I'm gonna dox myself, show you my address. Rome. Damn straight. Oh yeah! 0 to hero. Do do do. 0 to hero. Yeah, I don't know the words.
I don't either.
Hercules. Oh, oxide. Oh, oxime. Yeah, baby.
Wow. Look at us ending in a tie.
Yeah.
Hands on glass.
Yeah.
Can we play again, please, 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 please?
Oh my god, I might die if we play again.
Please.
We start Faz in.
What? Why am I in fourth?
We play.
I'm gonna
We play
scream.
Faz in 25, right?
Oh, yeah.
So maybe we play
Yes,
one
at
last
11.
game of something else, and then
Yeah.
we could
Okay.
do Landio. We could letter.
That was kind of
Lee-
fun.
Yeah, I like Landio. I think Landio is a good one to end off on.
Yeah, let's do that one.
Yeah, okay. And we got 4 people exactly, so we could do
Oh my
each
gosh.
color. What color? I want to be red.
Okay, I want to be green.
I want to be blue
What?
or whatever.
What?
I'm a
Color.
fun guy.
Actually, I actually will be crystal
I'm gonna make a.
or whatever.
I'm making a private game thing.
Okay.
Did you guys see that thing that says
Oh,
okay
yes.
the group? Yeah. Okay.
Beep, 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 beep.
Coo. What? I didn't know the spacebar stopped you. Did you know that?
What?
Yeah. I just kept running into walls, but no, you can stop yourself.
I had no idea that it did that.
Okay,
That's
who else
so
picking
great.
what?
I'm green.
Red.
I'll be crystal.
Ooh.
Meow.
Ah, no. Fuck.
Oh no. Oh no, I just saw someone obliterated. Did you kill yourself or did someone come get you?
Yeah, I killed myself, yeah.
Okay, good to know. I just want to make sure there's no threat near me. I am the threat near me.
What?
Fuck you.
Bye.
You blues, you're red.
This is all about domination.
Oh shit.
Get out of here.
Okay, I need to figure out these controls. Like it's weird. It won't like move whenever I hit a button. sometimes.
SGF.
Yeah.
Or you could use the mouse.
Hey,
Oh.
hey!
You got
I
me!
see you over there. Get out of my land.
Why are you in my house?
Come get me, bitch! Oh, shit. Okay, we got me.
Fuck.
Come at
Oh
me.
no! We just gave in 82% of the board!
No.
Oh my god! No, 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 no.
Come and get you. Come and get you. Come and get you. Wait, no, fuck. My keys stopped working. No. No.
No.
No, clear. The condensation.
Don't.
Oh, wait, I accidentally made purple guy. Whoa! Bestie! Big moves!
Give me the rest of the board.
No! Ball!
I love balls.
I just committed Sudoku. I'm paroling.
Let me have this.
What are you doing over there, Sammy? What are you doing?
Hey, puss and bacon boy. Get the fuck over.
Fuck. Oh no!
Yeah, baby!
Oh god!
Lava! Yeah. I ended it.
Jesus.
Little baby me.
Victory!
Yeah.
What are we? Yeah, expansionist and survivalist, baby.
Yes.
And striker. I'm everything.
Yeah, baby.
Not the conqueror, though.
Nitty.
Not the conqueror.
I'm so conqueror coded.
So true, man.
Literally.
How did I just take myself out?
Ah, you bit your own tail off.
Man.
I'm going to be England.
Imagine being British, couldn't me? Except for I'm pretty sure I'm
Fuck.
British.
Fuck, no! No! Oh, I was hoping I'd
Hey!
spawn in
hey.
your land. Oh, hello. How's it going?
Going pretty great now that I got your land.
What?
Don't mind me. Thanks.
There.
Hey, who spawned up there?
I'm just. I
didn't
can't
even
live
kill
anywhere.
you. You killed yourself.
I did. I got panicked and screamed and then killed myself.
Hey, who's over there? Who's
It's
over
me,
there?
bitch.
Get away.
Oh god. I glitched there for a moment. That was terrifying.
What the? How did that? What? How did that not kill
Holy
you?
shit.
I'm better. Fuck,
I killed
please.
myself on
No.
accident. Spawns more better this time. Yeah.
No! No!
How am I in first place right now?
I just watched that happen.
How did everyone
Oh my
die?
god.
No,
It exchanged hands and then
No.
the new ruler just couldn't take the heat.
don't worry about that. You saw nothing.
Oh, hello.
Bruh.
Easy.
Hey! Fuck out of here.
Hey!
Oh yeah. This
No,
so
that-
it's not wanting to register my button clicks a lot.
Oh! Nice.
Oh!
Yeah, it's a little slow.
Thank you,
with
thank you,
mine,
thank you.
too. I
Let's go.
get tripped up.
So close.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. What's a bigger boy? Ah! I survived.
I'm England now.
Play again, play again, play. Let me in.
Let me in. Go.
Vamonos.
Come on, let's get to it. I know that we can
Know
do
that
it.
we can do it. Oh fuck! I had a perfect opportunity there.
They'll kill me.
No.
Hands on your knees, Angelina Jolie, let me put my hands on your knees.
What? Okay. Don't worry about that.
Uh-oh. Shite.
You did.
Cut you off before you can even move.
Oh, shite.
That was a low blow, I'll admit it.
I am getting ganged up on over here.
Shite! Shite! My keys stopped working. No!
Oh no.
Hey, Bess.
Hey,
what's up?
hey.
Hey, what's up?
No.
Give me that. Just give me a little bit.
No. Stop that.
Just give me a little bit. Oh, wait, no, fuck.
No.
There, my keys.
Dang.
Yummy.
Well, I like literally lagged when I was 1 block away.
Oh god! Oh, that was so close, Finn. Oh my gosh. Ah! I'm on a warpath.
Hey, Bess. This is not good. Hey.
Raw.
That's not good either. Yeah, baby.
Fine.
Thank you.
Oh, shit.
Hey, stop that.
99%, baby!
Oh my god.
No.
I'm a warmonger.
Somebody stop this madman.
Warmonger.
Hold on, let me have it, please.
I'm fighting against a dictator. Oh!
Get over here.
No.
Okay.
I mean, if you say so.
God damn. God damn. Roxanne.
Roxanne.
Do party all night. Roxanne.
Play again? Question mark?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been so enthralled with this game. I thought that I had texted Jack like a few minutes ago, and I looked, and I have an unopened message from 41 minutes ago. Oopsies.
Oh god, stop that, Finn. Told you, stop that.
Whoa. Hey, why'd you have to spawn in here? Get out of here. God, look at
Oh fuck.
you are no longer lucky.
Hello.
Not lucky. Give me that. Give me that. Hey, give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Oh, Finn! Give me that back.
No.
Yes.
Oh,
I
shit.
don't understand how that worked, but okay.
I don't know how to to tell you that I'm just better than you.
I mean, yeah, probably. That's the second time in a row that's happened.
Dangerous maneuvers. Oh, damn, damn.
Wait, fuck! Oh my god, how did I survive that? Yeah, babe. Fuck! How did that... That shouldn't have killed me. That was stupid. Fuck, I killed myself.
I see you.
Shit.
These
Exchange
features
of
are about to
power.
make me trip. Little something near and far. Don't know where your parents are.
Oh, good song.
Get at the bar. Sipping on orphan tears. Sip,
Fuck,
sip, sip,
fuck.
orphan
Don't touch
on
me.
orphan tears. Fuck.
Ah.
Damn.
When you let
Oh,
your
yeah.
heart win.
Look at that.
Bussin' baby. Wait, bussin' bacon.
Bustin' babies.
Oops. I survived. I was fine. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I've got all my life to live, and I've got all my love to live, and I'll survive. I was fine. Yeah.
tears. No, fuck! My balls!
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
Who just spawned in my area? Get back here. From up space.
Please let me have this these crumbs.
Fuck.
How did that not?
I don't know. I just barely missed you.
I'm mad at this game.
Now I see a bestie.
Oh no.
What's bestie doing up there?
on what's talking about?
Bestie, what'd you do here?
What was talking about?
Oh, that was a
Fuck.
close one.
No.
I'm on the hunt. And I'm delicioso.
Oh.
That's fine. That's fine.
Nope.
Yum, yum, yum.
Hey.
Whoa, wait, yo. Maybe we could talk
Oh.
about this, right?
No.
Stay away. Just stay away. I will survive. Tell me I no! At the literal last second! The literal last second! Are you kidding me?
That's
I
funny.
got